Fave, have you ever crocheted a perfect basic body, but then struggled to create professional looking hair? Hi, I'm Karina from Amigurumis Castillo, and today we're going to transform these dolls. 6 together. I'll teach you 3 foolproof styles step by step so your amigurumi can go from looking like this to stuff looking amazing. Stay tuned because the 3rd style is the secret to keeping their hair looking effortlessly chic. $6? Okay, let's make different types of hair. For these little dolls, see, we'll use these colors here, right? These bright colors and this neutral color, CO, right? You choose the color. Set what design do you want to create with different colors, right? Okay. VHL, we're using the heads from the basic body. I'll leave a thumbnail here, and Steed. I'll also leave a link in the video description so you can make Steed's heads step by step. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make sure your doll doesn't end up bald. See? Look and see the difference different types of hair make to the face. Okay, so well, the same goes for the face. I also have a video on how to make the face. Here, as I said, CIT. It's just the hair. Same head, the same face as in the margarita and sunflower collections. So, let's get started. The materials we need are scissors, CHR needle, stitch markers, a 1.75 millimeters crochet hook, 2 millimeters yarn, and as I said, spirits, it's the color you choose. Same, if you want to use the same shades, you can use this one here, Emerald, green, this pink, or this color here, this brown, okay? Now, let's start with the short hair, right? And with bangs, we're going to make a 6 magic ring of 6 single crochet stitches. Inside this magic ring, we're going to crochet 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet stitches, and 6. We're going to close the magic ring by pulling this little tail. Like this. Look, like this. It's done. Now we'll join back together where we left off. Remember, here we have, this would be first round, and we have 6 stitches inside a magic ring. Now, what we're going to crochet is the following. I wanted to pause here. If you see subtitles appearing here at video to bottom, this is a tool from the YouTube platform. If you want to turn them off, steps. To turn off the subtitles you see here, you'll click on screen, and a little gear icon will appear in the upper right corner. You'll click on that. Gear icon, and then this tab will open where it says speed and playback. Spanish, there's a little arrow. You click on that arrow, and here, and you can translate to the language you want, or simply click where it says turn off subtitles. Said, and look, you won't see any subtitles anymore. Okay, with that said, let's continue. 6 stitches in this magic ring, right? Now we're going to crochet an increase of single crochet stitches in 6 huge. That means we're going to make 6 increases. I've already made one here. Okay, 2. 3, 4, 2, 6 and 6. Second round, and here we have 12 stitches. Now we're going to start. Stitch marker for this 3rd round, and we're going to make a single crochet. Then we'll put in stitch marker, and we're going to make the pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase. And we'll repeat that 6 times around this round. I've already made 1 stitch. In the next stitch, I'm going to make an increase, and seams. I'll continue repeating one single crochet and one increase all the way around to the end of the round. We've finished this third round, and so far we have 18 stitches. Now we're going to the fourth round, and we're going to start with a single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to make another stitch, and in the third stitch, an increase. And we're going to repeat single to the single crochets and one increase all the way around to the end of the round. It's done. Here, we've finished the fourth round, and so far we have 24 stitches. Now we're going to work the fifth round, starting with a single crochet. We'll place the stitch marker, and continue working single crochet stitches. We've been doing this throughout the project, and here I'm going to work 3 single crochet stitches. I've already done the first one. Here we go. 2, 3, and in the fourth stitch, an increase. So I'm going to repeat. Stitch this pattern of 3 single crochet stitches and an increase all the way around to the end of the round. Stand, and that's it. Look, I've finished that fifth round. It would be right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and that gives us 30 stitches. Look, I've placed these spacers here. I placed first spacer where I finished the last stitch, and from where spacer is, I counted 16 stitches and placed the other spacer. Since we have 30 stitches, 16 stitches will be for the loops at the back of the head, and these 14 will be for the loops of the bangs at the front. So now we're going to make the loops for the bangs, and we're going to chain 15, 1, 30 and 15. We're going to yarn over because we're going to make half double crochets. I skip the first, second, and go to the second and make my first half double crochet. I'm going to repeat. Yarn over. So go into the second chain. Look, in the next chain, I have 3 more. Yarn over and pull through those 3. These are half double crochets, and I'm going to crochet half double crochets until I reach the end, fifth of the chains. If I have 15 chains, I should get 14 half double crochets, and I'm going to do that 6, and that's it. Finish. Look, I've already finished crocheting my 14 half double crochets. Now I'm going to the next stitch. Zip, and I'm going to make a slip stitch. And again, I repeat this process. I'm going to chain 15. End. Then I'm going to make 14 half double crochets, and in the next stitch, a slip stitch, and so on in for these stitches until I get to 1 stitch before this marker, right? These 14 stitches are done. I'll explain how we do the next part. So let's skip ahead to that process. 6, and that's it. Set. Look, I've already finished making my 14 loops of 15 chains and 14 half double crochets. Sieve. This is where I finished. Look, in the last stitch I told you about, one before the marker. Slot, I made my slip stitch. Now we're going to make the loops for the back. These. And now these loops are obviously longer, and we're going to work them. Now we're going to spacers because we don't need them anymore. We just have these stitches. 16 stitches we need to work, right? Now we're going to chain 25. 1, 4, and 25. Now we're going to do the same process we did here. We yarn over because we're going to make half double crochets, and we start in the second chain. This is the first one. We go to the second chain and insert the hook there, and look, we pull through, and we have 1, 2, and 3. We yarn over again. Third pull through, and we have the half double crochet. So we're going to work half double crochets in each chain that seams. If we have 25 chains, we should get 24 half double crochets. Same, and we're going to do the same thing. We work up to here until we finish the chains, and in the next stitch, we make a slip stitch. And again, we chain 25 and so on. Stitch until we complete all these stitches. In total, we should end up with 16 loops of 25 chains and 24 half double crochets. And that's it. Look, I've already finished this last loop. So the last loop 6 looks like this. I haven't closed it yet, so you can see how we're missing this stitch. Look. 6th one, right? Because this one is from the other loop. Right here, there's a little empty stitch. See, certain, that's where the marker was. So I put it here and make a slip stitch. Stitch and finish. Look, this one. So here, we're simply going to cut the yarn. We're going to cut the yarn and pull the yarn through. Look, we're going to send it behind the work like this. Sleeve like this. And we're simply going to tie these 2 little strands together with the one from the magic ring that's left over. Second, we're going to make a little knot, and then we're simply going to excess yarn, and I'll show you how it's going to look. Now I'm going to then show you how we're going to attach this hair, okay? The smaller loops will obviously go at the front, like the bangs. So look, we're going to do this here where 7, the magic ring, is where it started. We're going to stick this pin in to secure it. Okay, so sit-a-po, we put it like this. Look, here's the magic ring on the head. So from the magic ring, we're going 4 to go down 1. This is the magic ring. We go down 1 and 2, right? Stand and straight down. We stick it in here. CO. Here goes the front part. So, what we're going to do is identify the 14 small loops we made, right? Which would be, look, here you can clearly see the loops that let me see. Okay, from here. So, we're going to turn this loop. Seedle a little bit more over here, because this one starts from here. Look, from the little loop, right? Date. And the other one. Look, obviously the other loop is going to end the same way. Look, from the little loop, stacked, okay. So, once we've centered that, we're going to put in some more pins so it DH doesn't move. Okay, so we're going to put, say, a pin here. Second, let me take another pin because when it's bent, the point doesn't want to go in. Like this, I'm going to change this pin. See, and you put in as many pins as you think are necessary. The ones you look at and say, no, it's tight enough there. Well, leave it there so you CD can glue the loops better. So, look, there, COI, put these pins in. Second, because it won't move anymore. So, what's the next step? The next step is to divide the 6 loops in front, right? Since we have 14 loops, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 in half. Second, we're going to glue 1 loop to one side and 7 to the other side. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so here are 7 loops here, 7 loops there. That would be 14. These 2 loops, the one on one side and the one on the other side. Center, we're going to center them first. This is going to be our guide. We're going to center these, look, here in the still middle of the eyebrows. So we're going to leave the same space on both eyebrows. CO, the loops. The size of the loops is designed so that they just go down like this and / glue down. We shouldn't even stretch or shrink them, okay? So we're going to glue them down first. We're going to put some pins here, look like this, right? So the loops are going to be glued side by side, look. So the next one goes here, the other one like this, and that's how we'll keep attaching. COL loops. Look, one after the other. Look, and that finishes the last loop. So now we're going to place 8 pins in each of these loops. And look, here I put the pins. Look, in all 14. / loops. So, as I was saying, it's important that you first put these 2 in the center. Second, and then the others will obviously be centered. Look, this is how this part will look. So now, with the back, we're practically going to do the same thing, right? In the back, 16 loops. That means we're going to put 8 loops on one side. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? 8 loops. So 8 loops here and 8 loops here. I'm going to take 1 loop from here and 1 loop from the other group because these will be my guide and I'm going to center them. So, synth. I'm going to center them so that I have the same number of stitches here and the same number of stitches here, right? So that I have the same spacing. So, next, let's center these 2 loops. Look, here's the center part. Zipped. So, I left about 16 stitches here and about 16 stitches here too. 5, so you have to find that midpoint, right? That midpoint. And then, the other loops. Just self like we did here. We're going to place them one next to the other. I'm going to place them like this. Stand, I'll show you how it looks. Okay, and look, I've already placed the back part. Look. Fixed hair is right behind the ear, the last hair, right? And we're going to place these like this. It should end up behind the ear like this. The important thing is to center these 2 well. Same, right? So that there's the same spacing. CO. Once this is in place, I'm going side to put the other side on and I'll show you. Okay, and look, this is how it's done. Seared, I used little needles. For now, because I ran out of pins. So this is the idea for the hair. See, right? This is how we should position the hair. Look, this is how the top part and the front part look. So, let me raise the camera a little so you can see it better. So, COEPs. Look, this is how the short hair looks. Picture. Now, if you'd like to, for example, do the same with COL bangs but with longer hair, then you simply have to make stitches. For example, here it has 25 chains. If you want to make more, you can make about 50 chains to make the hair grow. And if you want to make it with more volume, Fuji, what you can do is simply make more loops. You can even make double loops for more volume if you want. And if you want to do it without bangs, just CH part, the hair down the middle and sweep it to one side. Make all the loops the same size. Just part it down the middle and sweep it to one side here and the other side here. So, set. This would be the base for creating this type of hairstyle. Now, the next step is to glue it. We're going to glue the hair. 6 on top of the hair with hot glue. Look, remember not to cover the eyebrows. Look, escape, they won't be covered. If you position it exactly as I've shown you, it will look like this. COH. We're going to do this process. And look, this is how I usually glue it. First, I remove the 2 center pins. Then, I glue it first. I glue it like this, right? I glue this one and then I peel it off, right? So, we're going to put silicone on it and glue it down. We'll put silicone all over it, but at the very tip, seed. We'll leave it like this. Obviously, this little tip will stick out, so we won't put silicone there, only up to where it meets the skin on the head. We'll put the silicone on it like this. DH, as I said, we'll stretch it a little bit in this part, right? So, look. Thick part is already in place. So, very carefully, without stretching the loop, we'll put it in. Sicky, the position where it goes like this. Look. So, to put this one here, right? We have to unfasten this one. We unfasten this one here and set it aside. Whenever we're going to put a loop on, we unfasten the one next to it. So, we put it here, we do the same process, and then to put that one on, we keep pulling it out, and so on, so that it doesn't move. And that's how it looks. Look, the back part glued down. Now we're going to glue the front part down. Since we already know these, fixed. The only thing we're going to leave are these here so we can use them as a guide. Fall, okay, here are two options, and you can also secure it a little more if you want. Look. CO. These two are obviously the ones that go in the center to then form the others. 4. If you want, you can remove these two now. Yes, first, we know these. 6 are the two in the middle. We remove the pins here because, since it's already sealed, we can silicone here to secure it, a little bit of silicone here to secure it a little more, right? Look like this. State. And then now we're going to put these two that were in the center, which are the ones we'll screw loose glue first, and then we glue them just like we did here, one next to the other, and that's it. Look, this is how set the hair looks now. Look, it's ready to be put on its little body and for us to choose the outfit we want. So, look, this is how the eyebrows should be visible. They shouldn't be covered. This is how CR looks in place. Now we're going to start with the next hairstyle, which is Seedles, a little more challenging, but I don't mean difficult. CGs, we're going to move on from the basics we just did. We'll keep seeds progressing so that you can design your own hairstyles and add something to your own personal touch. Okay, let's begin by making a magic ring. Inside this magic ring, we're going to make 6 single crochet stitches. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4, ch6. We're going to close this magic ring, and this is the first round. See, this magic ring of 6 single crochet stitches is the first round, giving us 6 stitches. Now we're going to the second round, and we're going to make an increase in single crochet stitches in each. 6 stitches, right? So here I'm going to make my first increase. Let's go to the second. Three. 4, 2. CH. 6. 6. And here we have the 6 increases. Here we finish the second round. Stitch! And we have 12 stitches. Let's go to the third round and we'll start with a single crochet. Stitch, and here we'll begin to add our stitch marker. Like this, in the first stitch. Stuff of the next round. We'll work the pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase. I've already made 1 stitch. Stick here in the second stitch, I'm going to make the increase, and I'm going to repeat this pattern all the way around to the end of the round. That means we should get 6 single crochet and 1 increase. Second, and that's it. Third. Here we finished our third round, and we have 18 stitches so far. Now we continue to the fourth round. We make the first stitch of the fourth round and place stitch marker. And we're going to repeat the pattern of 2 single crochets. Here, I've already made 1. In the next stitch, another stitch. And in the third stitch, I'm going to make an increase. So I'm going to repeat. This pattern of 2 single crochets and 1 increase all the way around until the end of this round. Done. Here we finish our fourth round, and we now have 24 stitches. Now we're going to make the fifth round. For this, we'll start with 1 stitch and make 3 single crochets. I've already made 1. Let's do 2, 3 stitches, and in the fourth stitch, we're going to make an increase, And we're going to replicate this pattern of 3 single crochets and 1 increase all the way around to state the end of the round. And that's it. Look, here I finished round number. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 5, right? And here we have 30 stitches. Here I put the stitch markers to show you something. I put the marker on the last stitch I made. See, and from here I counted 12 stitches and put the marker on the 12th stitch. That means I'm going stick to leave 12 stitches here, and that would be 18 stitches, right? 18 plus 12 would be 30. Okay, so stall on these 18 stitches. What I'm going to do is a row of increases. I'm not going to do a row, indeed, but just on these 18 stitches, I'm going to make increases. Okay, so I'm going to keep working. Look, so no, here, an increase in each single crochet stitch. That means I'm going to make 18 7 increases, right? See, I'm going to increase only in these 18 stitches. That is, stitches where the marker is placed. Nothing in those, only in the ones back here. Scenes, and that's it. CEE. Look, I finished making these 18 increases here, right? Now I'm going to do the following. Stick. I'm going to chain 1, turn the work, and work these 36 stitches. That's it. Because since we made 18 increases, now I have 36 stitches, so I'm going to work 36 stitches, right? Stack of Denake. Look, I've finished working this round of 36 stitches, right? Here, every time I finish, I'm going chain 1 here. I've already chained it, I turn the work, and I'm going to work this row. Here, I'm going to pick up the back chain. Look, this is the chain. CD. I'm only going to pick up the back chain to make this other row of 36 stitches. Look, but only picking up the back chain, like this. And I'm going to complete these 36 stitches, and that's it. Look, I've finished this round. It's necessary that you stick to what I told you in the previous row so that the fabric starts going down and not up here. 6, 2. Here each time I finish this row, I'm going to chain 1. Turn the work, and now I'm going to underscore the entire stitch and I'm going to work these 36 single crochet stitches again, and I'm going to work 18 rows of these 36 single crochet stitches, right? So I'm going second to work row by row, and that's it. Look, here we finish the 18 rows, suckered. We just finished here where the right side is. Look, here's the wrong side, right? So what are we going to do? First, we're going to turn the work like this. The moment we turn, we're going to chain 25 there. Look, I've chained 25. Now we're going to yarn over and start from second chain from the hook. We're going to work half double crochet stitches, 1/2. In double crochet in each chain until we have 24 half double crochet stitches. There, look, I've finished. Siri, remember? We're working like this, right? This is the wrong side because we turned the work now. 6 to the next stitch. We'll make slip stitch. In the next stitch, we'll make another slip stitch. In the next stitch, another slip stitch. And only then will we chain 25 again. 6. We'll chain 25 again. There, look, I've chained 25. Now we're going to stay work 24 half double crochet stitches. There, look, I've made my 24 half double crochet stitches. See, now whenever I need to make a slip stitch here, 6, I make a slip stitch in the next stitch, right? But here, I don't start by chaining up. Instead, I go to the next stitch, stip and make another slip stitch. Remember that whenever I finish a loop within a loop, I make a slip stitch in one stitch, a slip stitch in another stitch, and then I chain up. 6. I'm going to make a total of 9 of these loops right now using this technique. Right? 25 chains, then 24 half double crochets. In the next stitch, I make a slip stitch. In the next stitch, another slip stitch, and then I chain up. I'm going to make 9 loops. Third look. I've already made the 9 loops I told you about, right? After finishing these 9, we're going to do the following here. We're going to make 2 loops, like this. So, here in the next stitch, I make slip stitch. And now, here I'm going to chain 25. Do you remember that here we were making slip stitch, and then another slip stitch? And we were just chaining in these 2 loops. See that we're going to work now, but we're not going to do that. We're going to make an exception. So here I'm going to chain 25 and work 24 half double crochets. There, look, I've finished. COMI 24 half double crochets. Now, in the next loop, I make a slip stitch and chain 25 again. 7th work 24 half double crochets. There, look, I finished my 25 and 24 half double crochets. Now, zips in the next loop. I make another slip stitch and again chain 25 and work 24 half double crochets. Now I've finished this one. Look, up to this point, we should have second. To remind you, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 loops. We should have these loops worked together, right? These would practically be CIR, right? Now, what we're going to do is go back to crocheting like we were doing here. Stick to making 2 slip stitches in a row and turning the loop over. Now, from here to extend, we should have a total of 8 more loops to complete the 20 loops. So, 6. Insert my hook here into the next stitch, make a slip stitch, go to the next stitch, make another slip stitch and chain 25. So I'm going to do that, chain 25, work 24 half double crochets, and again slip stitch here, and turn the chain over. Stash, and I'll keep doing 2 slip stitches in a row until I finish here. I should end up with stitches. I'll say 8 loops, right? 7, and that's it. Look, I've already finished making my last 8 loop. In total, we have 20, right? And here I have, look, the last little stitch, which is where I'm going to finish by making the slip stitch look like this. So in this part, we're going to cut this yarn here, right? We're going to cut it. And, well, this yarn will be like this on side. Then we hide it with the needle. Okay, this is the right side. Look, right? And this is the wrong side, okay? The idea is that we're going to, well, place it on the head like this. Seed, right. We're going to put it like this. It's not quite ready yet, right? So next, Fairies, we're going to glue this base first. And on top of this base, we're going to add these loops like this. So, fixed, that it looks like the hair is attached, and then we'll make the 2 little bows. State. Okay, now we're going to make the bangs part. So, look, here we have 12 stitches that we're leaving forward. So, we're going to loop them. Here's the stitch where we're going to make the first loop, right? See, we're going to loop them here like this. State like this. Look right. And we're going to chain 12 here, right? Just 12 chains. Now, state. After making the 12 chains, we're going to do the same thing we did here. State half double crochets, and we'll continue crocheting from the 2nd chain to the end. 6 should end up with 11 half double crochets, right? So we'll crochet these 11 half double crochets. Stitch then, in the next stitch, we'll make a slip stitch, chain 12 again, and work 11 half double crochets. In the next stitch, we'll make the same slip stitch, and so on without skipping any stitches. In total, we should end up with 12 loops of 12 chains and 11 half double crochets. See you. This is the piece we already have here. Let me take out this pin, this piece here. Look, I've already finished making my loops here on the front. So look, already cut the thread here. And well, we're going to pass this little thread through the back here to then. See this little thread on the inside, so you can't see it here, right? So look. This is how this piece looks, right? So it's a process that's going to look really good, right? CEH, this is going to go like this. And then we're going to position it like this. This isn't going to be left loose like this. Sixend, no, we're just going to go up like this. You'll see, trust the process. And, well, we're going to. Deans make two little pieces that look like bows here. Look, there, these here. I've already made one, and we're going to put it here, right? Okay, I'm going to show you how to make this little piece. If you can see, look, state also has what looks like tangled hair, right? And here are some little hairs that always stay. State like this, right? Because the bun isn't always perfect and everything doesn't fit together perfectly. Remember that. Here isn't always perfectly symmetrical, right? So I'm going to show you how to make this one, and we, VLL, need to make another one to put here. Then we'll position this front piece and the back piece nicely. CEC, and you'll see the shape it will take. So for now, we're going to set CS piece aside and make this piece here. Okay, so now we're going to start crocheting. See, and let me lower the camera a little so you can see more closely what Sixend doing, okay? So we're going to make a magic ring of 6 single crochet stitches. Sixth one. This is the magic ring. I'm going to make 6 single crochet stitches inside this ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet, and 6. No. Now we're going to close this magic ring so it looks like this. And this would be the first round there. This would be the first round. So, second, here we're going to make an increase of single crochet stitches in each stitch. If we have stitches, seed, obviously we need to make 6 increases. I'm going 1 increase, let's go 2. 6. Second, and here we finish our second round. We can tighten the yarn so that this magic ring closes. Well, and here we have 12 stitches in the second round. Now we're going to start the third round by making a single crochet and placing the stitch marker, like this. Teens, and we're going to make a single crochet and an increase. Sears, and I'm going to repeat. Cinch this pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around until the end of the round. Sears, and that's it. Look, here we finish our third round, and up to that point we would have 18 stitches. Let's go to the fourth round, and we're going to make a single crochet. We place the stitch marker. Sixend, in the next stitch, another single crochet, and in the third stitch, an increase. And we're going to repeat this pattern of 2 single crochets and 1 increase all around until the end of the round. Done! Look! I've already finished this fourth round, and we have 24 stitches so far. Now we're going to the fifth factor round, and we're going to make our first single crochet. We put in the stitch marker, and we're going to make 3 stitches. I've already made 1. Come on, 2, 3, and 1 increase. Second, and we're going to repeat this pattern of 3 single crochets and 1 increase all around until the end of the round, and done. Look. I've already finished my 5th round, and we have 30 stitches so far. Now we're going to 6th round, and we're going to make 4 single crochets. I've already made 1, 2, 3, and 4 stitches. 6th, and in the next stitch, 1 increase, and we're going to repeat this pattern of 4 single crochets and 1 increase all around until the end of the round. and done. Look, I've finished my 6th. Vector round here, and we have 36 stitches so far. Now we're going to round number 7, and we're going to make 5 stitches. Now I've made the first one. 1, come on, 2, 3 single crochet stitches and an increase. And single, I'm going to repeat this pattern of 5 single crochet stitches and an increase all the way around until the end of the round. And that's it. 7, look, here I've finished my 7 rounds. My 7th round would be my 7th round, and so far we have 42 stitches, right? Now what we're going to do is height rounds, and we're going to work these 42 stitches stitch by stitch, and we're going to make 7 height rounds. Right? We're going to work 7 height rounds of 42 stitches. Done. Look, here, I've finished. Sit work, my 7 rounds of 42 single crochet stitches. That means we've finished this. Sit, last round, round number 14. From the beginning, from the magic ring to here. Stipped, that's 14 rounds in total. Okay, now we're going to round number 15, and we're going to work the decrease rounds. We're going to make 5 single crochet stitches. 1, stitch, place the stitch marker. Okay? 2, 3, chain, and 5. And 1 decrease. We're going to make the invisible decrease. See now, like this. Look, this is how I'm going to remind you. We pick up the yarn over from the next stitch. We pick up the first loop, the front loop of the other stitch. We yarn over and pull through. Those 2 loops. We have 2 left. We yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. And 4, here we have the decrease. So we're going to make this pattern of 5. Single crochet stitches and 1 decrease, and we're going to repeat it all the way around until the end of the round. 6 done. Look, we've finished round 15 and we have 36 stitches so far. Sit, right? Now we're going to round 16 and we're going to make 4 single crochet stitches here. Stitch, stitch. I'm putting in the stitch marker and I'm going to make 4 stitches. I've already made the first one. Let's go. 2, 3, 4 stitches and a decrease. And we're going to repeat this pattern of 4 single crochet stitches and decrease all the way around until the end of the round. Done. Look, here I've finished. Round 16 and we have 30 stitches so far. Now we're going to round 17 and 60, we're going to make 3 single crochet stitches. I've already made my first stitch here. I'm going to make 2, 3 stitches. I'm making 1 stitch in each stitch, and I'm going to make a decrease. And I'm going to repeat this pattern of 3 single crochet stitches and a decrease all the way around until the end of the round. 6. And that's it. Look, I finished round 17 and we have 24 stitches so far. Now, we're going to round 18 and we're going to make 2 stitches. I've already made my first stitch. I've already made 1 stitch. Let's move on to the next stitch. I'll make 2 stitches and 1 decrease. And we're going to repeat this pattern of 2 single crochets and 1 decrease all the way around until the end of the round. Done. Look, here I've finished my 18th round, and so far we have 18 stitches. Now we're going to pause here because we're going to stuff this piece. And well, we're going to start with our little darts. Something to keep stuffing it. And there, look, I've already finished stuffing it. Now what we're going to do is the last round of decreases, and this would be round number 19. And we're going to do the following. We're going to make one single crochet. We place our stitch marker that's over here, there, and we're going to make one single crochet, which I already did, and I'm going to make one decrease. Look like this, one decrease. Center, and we're going to repeat this pattern of one single crochet and one decrease all the way around until the end of the round, and that's it. Look, I've finished round 19, and we have 12 stitches left. Stitched, now we're going to cut this because we're going to glue it, right? But if you want to sew it, second, you can leave a long tail. I'm going to glue this piece with silicone. So I'm just going to unfasten it, and I'm going to pass this little tail back. Look, I'm going to insert the needle into the last stitch I just made and bring the tail back. It didn't catch the whole tail, but date doesn't matter. We've already passed it all through. So, look like this, second. And we obviously put this little tail inside this circle there. Now we have a very cute little ball that will be the bow. CD, but we're going to set it aside because we're going to make another piece. We need the yarn. Fixant, because we're going to make a long piece. Look, to wrap around here later? Okay, so we're going to do the following. We're going to make a total of 200 chains, and that's it. Look. See, I've already made my 200 chains here. Okay, now what we're going to do is simply half double crochet stitches in these chains. That is, we're going to crochet. In total, we should end up with 199 half double crochet stitches. Because the first chain isn't worked, I yarn over and go from the first to the second. I insert the hook. Second, look, I have 1, 2, and 3 left. I yarn over again and go through those 3. This is a half double crochet. I'm going to repeat. I yarn over, I insert the hook into the next chain. I yarn over, look, and I have 3 left. I'll make a loop and crochet these 3, right? So I'm going to crochet half double crochets, 1 half double crochet in each chain until I reach the end, and that's it. Look. 4. We've finished making our 199 half double crochets here. Now we're going to cut the yarn here. We're going to pull the yarn like this. Look, we're going to make 2 knots here, like this. One and 2 knots. Perfect. Now we're going to cut off the excess, and then accent. We're going to put a little bit of silicone on these little ends that are left here, and we're going to tuck them back where they won't be seen. That's it, because that's the right side. Okay, now we're going to heat up our hot glue gun. Date, because we're going to glue this. I suggest you glue it because it looks like this. Look. There, right? Without any visible stitches. Fixed. And it doesn't look tight, because sometimes when you crochet, it always pulls and ends up a little puckered, right? It's up to you whether you want to glue or sew. Okay. Start with gluing. We'll take the little tip of the piece we just finished. Second, that's the one we'll glue first. We'll put a little bit silicone here, like I said, so these little things stay glued on the back. TER, like this. Look. Here's a little bit like this, so it sticks well. Okay, now secure, we're going to secure it. It doesn't matter which side, none of that matters. Remember, it's not symmetrical at all. Cinch, I'm just going to give you an idea of how we start. It's not exactly on this row. Because the hair isn't symmetrical. So, first, we're going to put silicone on this tip. We're going to put the silicone on this little tip and glue it here like this. Look. Third, we're going to glue it like this. Like I said, it's not on the 3rd and 4th rows like this. Center right. It's about 2 centimeters from here to here, more or less. Okay, so what? Yuri, you're going to do is apply silicone because we're going to glue it like this. Look, in a spiral. Same beer. The idea is not to stretch it. I'm not going to stretch it like that. We're just going to turn it and shape it. I'll show you. So, I'm going to apply silicone in little sections like this, not all at once, to give it this shape. So, look, I apply the silicone. Thick end, go gently. Look, look, I'm not even stretching it. I'm just turning it. Look, like this. Scene, and I want you to see how it's coming along, okay? So I keep applying silicone in sections so it sticks like this. Look, and I go gently, without pulling. Feed, right? Look, I just hold it with one hand and turn it. Look at the circle. I turn VI so I can glue it. I barely move this one. I'm just going around the circle. So it sticks. Then I continue applying silicone. When I have this last little bit left, I'm not going to put it all over. Look, this stitched little tip is going to be kind of raised. I'm only going to glue it like this. Look, and this little tip 6 is going to be raised like this. I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, and if you see that we still need to add some here, I'm going to set it aside now because I'm going to make another piece. I want it to look like this. Look, 2 little things that look like hair. Okay, now I'm going to make 50 chains again, and I'm going to crochet 49 half double crochets within those chains, just like I did with this one. But instead, third of 200 chains, I'm only going to make 50 and crochet 49 half double crochets, and that's it. Look, here I did. Same process as we did here. Look here, I already glued the silicone to the 2 little strips. State, and this is the part we're going to glue here. We'll basically continue like this. We'll put it in. Here's like this. And we'll keep rolling, okay? So we're going to continue gluing. So, we'll take this part where there's no silicone to hold it in place. Okay? So we're going to keep gluing like this. Look this way as far as it will go. If there's a space like this, it doesn't matter. Since this DD is going to be glued, it won't even be visible, okay? So it doesn't have to cover all of this. No, deed, no, not at all. And, well, as I said, they're not symmetrical. Even one of them might come out. Fixed tench different here. It's more rounded. Here, the cut is more oval, even in the... Finally, look. Here, it looks more like this. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, just 2 little balls. Same size. With a strand of hair twisted around them, they're now having these pieces. We've finished. Steve, all the weaving for the hair. Now, let's shape it. Start with the scene's hair. This part, this piece first. The little bows we made, those go last. 6 cent. We're going to take a pin first to center it. Okay, here we are. Fixed. Look, this is sit, right side, right? This is the wrong side. Yes, you can see it, right? So, what we're going to do is wear sit. This magic ring is in the center. Look, here we're going to insert the pin in the center of the magic ring. Center, and this is going to go in the center of the magic ring on the head. Here, we're going to insert the pin, right? Like this. Step, look, and we insert the pin here in this part. It has to go center to center. I'm way back there now. 6. Once this is secured, let's make sure this is square too, that it's right here and here. 6. Look. Okay, CO. Let's make sure this edge touches the ear and this other edge does too. DD. Once that's done, we're going to put more pins here so it doesn't move. That's very important. This is, I think, one of the bases for properly positioning this hair. So, 6. Let's put some pins here. I don't know why, but sometimes when they're turned around, they fixed don't seem to go in. Okay, so it's in now. COM, I'm going to put some pins wherever you think it's necessary so that the base doesn't move, okay? So, we're putting some pins in there, okay? Done. That's how we're doing. Okay, once this is in place, DBH aligned here and here. What we're going to do is glue this part here. This whole part, right, from here to here, all the way. We're going to put silicone down here so we can start gluing it. Skin, okay? So, we're going to put it like this. We hold it and we're going to put a little silicone. CH on these parts. Like this, look, right? First, like this. To start gluing, and very gently, we're going to set lower it so it doesn't move. Look, we're holding it like this so it doesn't wrinkle. Look, and so it doesn't. It's easy, move from where it is, right? So, we're going to keep gluing it like this. It's already glued up to halfway here. Second, we lift it like this to glue the next part. We're going to glue this whole part here with silicone. Like this, look. Sticked whole part, right? We're putting silicone on it like this, and then we're going to lower it. Like this, we lower it. Six, and hold it so it sticks, because this has to be fixed to the head. Okay, look. Sixth, now. It's very well glued. Where you feel it needs more. Maybe here. Look, a little bit of silicone. You put it on, and if not, I need a drop here. Silicone, like this. Look, like this way. And that's it. Look. So the next step we're going to do is this. These, each one, look, here I have a little loop left over. Searant, I'm going to hide it. Done. Once this whole base is glued, we're going to do the following. Each loop, COO, is glued up to here, right? Up to where the flat knitted part states ended. We're left with the loops. Now what we're going to do with the loops is that theory going to glue about 1 centimeter of the loops here. Okay, because we don't want to raise the loops and stash have this part show, right? We want to see a clean loop. What do I mean? I'm going to do the following. So, I'm going to glue, as I said, about 1 centimeter of the loop. I'm putting silicone here, like this way, and I glue the loop like this, just where it falls. Look. Accent. I'm not going to stretch it this way or that way or pull it. No, just where it falls, like this. Second, look, right? CH makes sure it's glued well, because when I lift it, look, I want this. I want it to look so like this and not like that. Look at the difference. Here you can't see the base. Here you can see that there's a join and it ends. CO, I don't want this, but this, because when I lift this, because I'm going to lift this to shape the little loops. Okay, so I'm going to do this process. I'm going to CH glue only 1 centimeter of each loop. I'm going to do that with all the loops. I'm going to glue only 1 centimeter. Second, you have to keep something in mind. It's also very important, right? When gluing, we have 20 loops, so we have to separate 10 here and 10 here to be able to center them. The 2 loops in the middle of the head, right? So that we can then make the little curls. That's all. Step, and then obviously you glue them on. Some of you will have to glue them overlapping, half overlapping, right? No. Indeed, that's true. But the important thing is that you divide them here and 10 here, that you have them in the middle. First, right that you start, because then we're going to move them up and they have to be 10 here and 10 here ready. Look. Setter, once you've glued this, it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical, right? Once you've glued this and it looks like this. We're going to divide it. We're going to underscore the 10 here and the 10 there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 loops that would be from here. So we're going to arrange them. And VLL, explain how. Look, here I want to zoom in a little bit. Here I want CE to show you how I attached one side so you can replicate it on the other. Okay, so, well, we'll arrange the fringe later. I just put these pins in to check something. Let me explain. 6. Okay, we have 20 of these loops, right? 20 loops. So, I'm going to take 10 stud loops and put them on this side. But as long as, look, obviously it has to be in the same middle here. The same space that's here has to be here. So you calculate it. 6, you divide it. Okay, so I'm going to show you with these loops how I placed them. Okay, so what we're going to do is the following. Look, we're going to take this loop and we're going to move it up. This is going to second be our reference line. Look, this isn't it. This is going to be our reference. CH, the loops have to end here. No more going over here or down. But look at this. If you see that it's queen above and here, you adjust it. Between this strip here. Okay, so Sejin, how are we going to place it? Let's take this one for example. And if you see the edge here, 4, what we're going to try to do is make sure this one is positioned above this edge so that the edge isn't visible like this, look, right? When it's glued on, you won't see that edge. Okay, so Statch, we're going to place it above that edge. Okay, and we're going to put the pin in the other one. Okay, here, I'm putting the pin in, okay? Like this here, so to speak, right? It's behind the ear. See, look, right behind the ear. Okay, now this other point is going to go next to this one. Sectics to this one too, but the point is going to overlap here. It's going to be on top. So what do I do? Fear and I put this point that's here and it's on top. No, and I'm going to stick the pin in there. Like this? CO, like this. So more or less like this, right? Squate. It's a little bit higher up here. Okay, like this. Second, because it's on this one here, look, they'll always go in pairs, joined at the same point, then stop, I'll do the other one. I put the other one the same way next to it, but not overlapping, just next to that one. CO, okay, and I'll pin it so it stays there. The next one is the same next to it, but only the points. Center on top again. Here, look, like this, look, like this, COK. This one goes next to it. Sistip. This one goes just next to it, right? And the next one goes right next to it. This goes side by side, only the point. CD is on top. They'll go in pairs, like this, right? Look like this. Now I'll do the other one that goes here. Sixcent, we put it here, and the next one will overlap. It will overlap right like this. Look, the other one goes next to it like this. CN, the last one will overlap. Stay. Okay, that's more or less a guide. Look how I'm doing it. It's so it looks like 6, halfway here, like this. This is how this part will look. Now I'm going to show you the bangs. I'm going to take out all these pins to show you from the beginning how they go. Okay, Sears, let me put one back in here. This pin just came out. No more. So, what are we going to do here? Okay. Feeling here it is, positioned as we wanted, right? Now, of these loops here, we have 12 loops, right? So, we're going to separate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 that are on one side and 6 on the other. Set. We're going to underscore the one in the middle of one side and the one in the middle of the other side. So, I mean, here I have 5 and here 5. Day, and we're going to start with these 2 in the center, right? Step, we're going to glue these loops together like this, but with a stitch of separation. We're always going to center them. COLR guide will be the eyebrows, right? We want the same spacing here and the same separation here, and almost a tiny bit of separation. So we're going to click here. So, to hold it in place, and here too, right? It doesn't have to be exact, but more or less. Center it so it looks like this. Look, here's a little dot, here's a little dot, and here in the center, like 6 and a little dot. Okay, now what are we going to do? After placing this, we'll go to this one here. This one will second go attached here, attached to the other strand. Like this way. Stuff, look, this one on the other side will also go attached to this one. Like this, the fringe. Okay, third right, we still have 4 left to do, right? 6 and I'm going to place these 4 here in this space. Like this, okay? Seed. Well, that's how we're going to place it. It's already in there. Look, the same here. See you. It ends up like this, so that the eyebrows aren't covered and it's symmetrical. Look. CHS. That's how we're going to place what would be the hair. I hope I've explained it well. Okay. So once you have all this done, you're obviously going to glue it with silicone. Or if you prefer, you can sew it. Third, if you're going to sew it, you should only sew the little tips here, not the whole loop. Citric, you just stitch it here and again here. Just stitch it here so it doesn't bunch up. And if you're going to glue it, glue the tips here. And second, you can also glue a little bit of the middle part if you want. Now, once you done all this, I'm going to raise the camera a little. Now you're going to take the 2 little bows. 16 we made and place them here. If you see these little hairs, it doesn't matter which side they go on. It doesn't matter. Just place them here. Look. And finally, this is how it turned out. I glued everything with silicone. I didn't sew anything. Look, this is how it finally turned out. As I said, see, it's not exactly perfect on the line, on the dot. It's hair, and it's going to be a little irregular, but that was the intention. I hope you liked it. Look, so we're going to continue making the other strands of hair so you can see it more or less. Look, once it's glued on, 6 cents. It's basically where the bangs start, right? Yes. Here a little bit. Yes. Second, I mean, it's not that exact because hair is never going to be perfectly symmetrical, even in real life. But that's more or less what we wanted to capture. That it's, look, the hair is lifted, gathered, and made into sovereign little buns. I really wanted to give it this hair texture and not just make it look like a state helmet. And that's fine too, right? Because I think it's really up to each person. Second, how they want to do it. If you want to make it simpler, you can make it like a helmet. CT, which I've seen tutorials do, and it looks very nice too. And simply the little ball. Second, glued here and here. Third, but if you want something a little more elaborate, we could say, and something that looks more like hair. Well, you have this option. It's your decision, little spiders. Victor. Okay, so let's continue. Now we're going to continue and make the basic hair. 6, which would be the longer hair. We're going to use this yarn and make a 7 magic ring. And inside this magic ring, we're going to make 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet, and 6 stitches, right? We're going to close this magic ring. Now, the next thing we're going to do is what would be considered the first round. Sida, okay? Now, the next thing we're going to do is increases. That is, 1 increase in each stitch. 6. So I'm going to make a total of 6 increases because I have 6 stitches. And I'm going to let me zoom out a little there. I'm going to make 6 increases. So I make my first increase. Think, okay, 2. 6. And our last increase, 6, right? Second, we close this magic ring securely, and the next thing we're going to do is this. We finished the second round, and so far we have 12 stitches. Let's go to the third round and make our first single crochet, and start by placing our stitch marker, like this. Now, in the second stitch, I'm going to make an increase. Remember that we're working single crochet stitches and scene. I'm going to repeat this pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around to the end of the round. Okay, here we finish the third round. CEE, right? And we have 18 stitches. Now let's go to the fourth round. Stitch. We place the stitch marker and we're going to make 1 stitch, 2 stitches, and 1 increase. We'll repeat this pattern of 2. Single crochet stitches and 1 increase all the way around until the end of the round. Six. And that's it. Here we finish the fourth round and we have 24 stitches. Okay. Now we go to the fifth round and we're going to do the following. We're going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches and 1 increase. And we'll repeat that all the way around until the end of the round. Okay, here we finish the fifth round, and we have 30 stitches. Okay, now we're going to do one last round, but we're going to do the following. Let's see. Stitch. Here's where we're going to place another stitch marker to help us. So, what we're going to do is divide the round. Okay, here I'm going to leave it. Look, here's stitch marker, right? Where the new round begins. So I'm going to count from the last stitch I made to here. I'm going to count 14 stitches to place the other stitch marker. So 30. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Right where I said 14, that's where I'm going to put the stitch marker. Look, and the other stitch marker I'm going to put in the last stitch. I just speed in that round, like this. CO. That means that from where this marker starts until it ends, there are 14 stitches. So, since I have 30 stitches here, I should have 16 stitches free. CXE. So, we're going to do the following with these 16 stitches. So, we're going to crochet stitch. In this part here, only here, the stitches that aren't marked with the marker, that is 16 stitches. So I'm going to start by making, but sorry, this round I'm going to work in the single back loop, and I'm going to make a single crochet and in the next one an increase. Look, see you like this, so that I have these little loops. I repeat a single crochet and an increase, and I'm going to continue working. Single pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase only up to this point before the marker, but working into state of the back loops. So I repeat 1 single crochet and 1 increase until I get here. Here. Look, I've basically finished working my base, right? Here we only worked these stitches. Here. right? So, from what we repeated, 1 single crochet and 1 increase. Single. In total, we should have done 8 single crochet and 1 increase stitches here, right? So, stitches were increased. So, from where we had 30 stitches, now we have 38 stitches. CI. Now we've reached the stitch marker here, and here we're going. CEI to start making loops. Okay, so in these loops up here, I'm going to do the following. In these loops, in these stitches, I'm going to do the following. I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and first I'm going to chain 8-0. That's it. Look, here I've already chained 80 stitches, and what we're going to do are half double crochets. So, I yarn over from the first to the second chain. In the second chain, I insert the hook, pull through. I have 1, 2, 3 loops. I yarn over and work those 3 loops. Again, I yarn over, insert the hook into the next chain. I have 3 left. I yarn over and work all 3. These are half double crochets, sixteened, and I'm going to work stitch over stitch in these chains. And in total, if I have 80 chains, 17 half double crochets, because the first chain isn't worked. So I'm going to work all these half double crochets down until I get here. And that's it. Oh, my camera moved. CE, and that's it. 70. Here we have 79 half double crochets because we're going to make long hair. Now, in stitch here, I'm going to slip stitch. Now, CEO, I want to point this out to you, right? Here we have 14 stitches, right? We've already made the first loop. We've already used the first stitch. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is chain 80. CHL crochet 79 half double crochets. In the next stitch, I'll make a slip stitch, and then from here, I'm going to chain 80 again and work 79 half double crochets. Sorry, I don't know why I said slip stitches. Okay, and then in the next stitch, I'm going to make my flip, stitch, and so on. Without skipping any stitches, now I'm going to do the first 6 loops. That means I've already done one. Here I'm going to look at the other one. It would be 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that's it. Look, this is what I wanted to show you, right? I've already made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 loops, right? Here in stitch part, remember we have 14 stitches, right? 14 stitches, right? Stitch with 6 the marker that belongs to the other side. Here we would have 8 stitches left. 60, right? Okay, now when I finish making the loop, the 6th loop or stitch, zip here where I would make the slip stitch, I'm going to make a single crochet look like this. In the single cinch, another single crochet. Look, not like this. So I finished making the 6th loop and went down. Single crochet and then another single crochet. And from here, I'm going to start going up again. State, only here. In the middle, I'm going to do this, right? I chain 80 again and continue crocheting as zip. I was crocheting this part here. Now I only make these 2 single crochets here. I chain 80, 6 to work, 79 half double crochets, slip stitch, and so on until I complete 6 loops. CD, we need to make 6 more loops, okay? So let's do that. Done. Look, I've already finished making my 6 more loops here, right? I'm going to give you a reminder. Let me tidy up this yarn a little bit. It's kind of tangled here. No more here, I finished. Look. Stitch. Right before the spacer, I made the slip stitch. When I made this loop, I made it there. See you. If I had 14 stitches here, then I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops, which used 6 stitches. Then I made 2 single crochets, so that would be 6, 7, 8 stitches plus 6, and that would be 14, right? So we've already used the 14 stitches here, making 6 loops here, and 2 single crochets in the middle. Okay, now let's go to this part to make the loops. Okay, all the loops we're going. 6 to make our 80 chains and 79 half double crochets, all of them, but here we're going to do it. CJ with a difference, not in the length of the loop, but rather in the way we make the slip stitches. So right here, I made the slip stitch and finished doing this. I'm going to remove this separator, which we don't need anymore, and now I'm going to chain 80. There, look. Sixth one. I've made 80 chains. Second, now I'm going to go back down and work 79 half double crochets, right? And that's it. 7, look, I finished making these 79 half double crochets. Now, in the next stitch, I'm going to make a slip stitch. Now I'm going to chain 80 again and go back down and work 79 half. 6 double crochets. And that's it. Look, here in total, we've made 2 loops in this new section here in front. 6, right? Because these are the 12 loops we made at the beginning, and these are the 2 loops. Section here. Remember that in this section we have 24 stitches free. Fucker, right. 24 stitches. So, I've already used 2 stitches. CE, it would be with this loop that I'm going to slip stitch, and it would use 2 stitches, right? Now, why did I make 2 loops? And I want to explain this pattern. Every 2 loops, I'm going to make 2 loops together. 6, right? 80 stitches, 70 half double crochets. I make the slip stitch, 80 chains, and 79 stitches, right? Stitch when I make 2 loops. I'm going to make 2 slip stitches in a row. That means that here, click in this next stitch. I make the slip stitch, and then in the next stitch, slip stitch. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make 2 loops and 2 slip stitches, 2 loops and 2 slip stitches, and so on until I finish and complete it. 16, we should end up with 16 loops, right? If we make 2 loops and 2 slip stitches, 16 loops here. So I'm going to do that whole process until I finish here. Fuck, okay, look, here, I've finished making my last loop, and I have 2 stitches left, and I finish. Skip with my 2 slip stitches. 1 and 2, I pull the next stitch through and bring strand back to finish it off. Look, that strand will now be at the back. We can even DI it with a little loop from the magic ring. Without tightening too much, we shouldn't tighten it. CE, because otherwise the piece will become too prominent. Just like this. Look, keeping the circle intact. Theory, it's only to hold it in place. It's now at the back. And we cut off the excess. Third, now we just need to make the last part of these loops. I don't know if you remember that. Step when we were making this piece here. We made a few stitches, just a few, not all the way around. But just a few stitches in a block. And look, you can see some visible chains here. Slash, look at these chains here. Okay, so from here to here, all these chains up to here. Look. Third the chains, right? These chains, we have a total of 16 chains. Okay, so what we're going to do is start crocheting loops here in these 16 chains. We're going to make 16 more loops. Second, which will be the back, right? So it has a little more volume. So, teachin'. Look, we're going to take the yarn and add. We're going to start adding from here, right? So, feared, we're going to take it like this. Look at the first chain, the first strand you see. You can see it better there. Second, okay? So we add this like this and chain 80. And that's it. Fuck crocheted my 80 chains. So this little strand we have left from the beginning, we can take it to the back. Look. See, we insert it like this, so we can tuck this strand behind and it won't be visible. Look, it looks zippered like this. We can even tie this strand here with this little strand we have left. 620. We can also make a knot here so it doesn't come undone. And that's it. Here it is. Half. DH tied. Now we go back here where the chains are, and what we're going to do is loops. Thing, right? Okay, we go down here crocheting 79 half double crochets, right? Here we're not going to skip any stitches, nor are we going to make 2 slip stitches like we did here. See, right here, we simply crochet the 79 half double crochets, pass here, make a slip stitch. From here we go up and so on. Since we have 16 strands, we should end up with 16 loops of 80 chains and 79 half double crochets. And we'll see you when we finish. Zip part. Look, here I've just finished loop number 15. I still have 1 loop left. CH, but I wanted to show you this part. Look, here I only have 1 little strand left. See, right? So, what I'm going to do here is close it off, right? By making a slip stitch. And to make the last loop, I'm going to chain 80 and work. 79 half double crochets. Done. Look, here, I finished making this last loop. Number 16. But if you see that there are no more strands to hook onto, then what am I going to do? Slip stitch and finish the loops right. There's a little stitch right next to. Did it. Look at this little stitch here. I'm just going to hook onto it like this and make a slip stitch. That's all. Now I'm going to cut the yarn because we're finished. Yes, when you do, sew a long hair, it's really tedious because you have to make a lot of loops, but it's really worth it. Dee, it looks very pretty. Okay, let's take this strand from the back so we can finish it off. Look, we pull it like this. So it's not noticeable anymore. And obviously, here we're going to tie it with the little strands we have. Third, we're going to tie it loosely, just so it's nice and loose. Basically, right. And 4, we're going to cut off all the excess from the little ponytails because since it's tied, there's no problem anymore. See our right like this. Look. So, here we have our, our hair. Look. Stays, the hair is completely finished. Look, so these loops that we just made, 16 loops. These are the back part. And here would be the front part, where we made 12 loops. Remember, we even made 2 single crochet stitches here for separation. We made 6. And we had 2 single crochet stitches for separation. So that goes forward, and we're going to align it with the little head at the front. Look, the way we're going to secure it. Once we've identified the 2 points, you can see it more clearly because there's a lot more hair here. Second, and it looks good here. We're going to insert the pin here in the middle of the magic ring, and we're going to position it, obviously not directly on the face. If you see the magic ring here, we're not going to insert it in the magic ring, but just 1 turn further forward. Like this, look. So here, you see, this is centered right here. You see, right in the center. Stuff of all this, right? You're going to secure it so that it's right there in the center. Once center, we're going to put pins in it so that it doesn't move. So, we'll put little pins in here so it doesn't move. Look, so. Basically, the hair stays loose like this, right? It stays loose. Let me raise the CRA camera a little more. Okay, look, the hair stays loose, right? So, I'm going to leave it like this. As I said, with the hair loose, the doll's hair is really just like this. Now, you also have the option of styling it, adding some hair. You can do it like this, right? Over here, if you want to give it a different style, taking the 2 loops at the beginning and putting them like this, right? It's also a good idea to secure it here. Obviously, we have to sew this part here, right? And also, if you or glue it, because I'm going to glue it. You also have the option of these hairs underneath. CIS. If you see, we had to do the last 16 hairs here, which are these. Here, look. These are the last 16 hairs we made, right? Look at these here. Let me... hold them like this. The last ones are to show you something there. And down here are the other 16 hairs. Fert. If you want to give it a little more firmness, you can also... glue these hairs on. These are the hairs up here in front. Don't get them mixed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They are the front hairs, because there are 6 here, 6 here. 6, 12. So, look, these hairs are the 16 in the back. This one is from here. So, what we can do is the following. Let me position them nicely so I don't get confused. 1, 2, 3, 5, and I'm missing one. Look, 6, right? Now, these are the ones in the back. Look, these you can see it clearly there. So, if we want, we can glue these underneath with silicone. CRIC. It's a little more secure and you can't see it when the hair's lifted. So, indeed, it doesn't look like it's bald underneath, basically, right? So, a good option is to seasoned glue it like this, up to here. Then you just keep attaching the hair because 6 right here in the back. Since all the doll's bodies are the same size, 16 hairs here to fill the head, or you can also do fix, the option we always do of underscore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I'm showing you correctly, yes, 6, that 6 cent. The camera can't see. 7 and 8 are the hairs here. And look, 8 here, right? 8. Semen would be the hairs here instead. So, if I have them here, look, these are the 8s here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are from here because these 6 are from the front. So, 8 hairs from here. Second 8 from here. I can underscore the 2, 1 from here, and put these first in the center. Center them so they stay in place. I'm going to take these pins out here so I can show you better. So, 0, we can position them like this so you don't get confused. So, these 2 that we already have in the center. Oops, I'm too high up. I can't see. Let's glue them here first in the center, leaving the same number of points here and the same number of points here. Send. Have to center these hairs. Okay, X. Then we can put our pins in there. 6 in to hold them in place. And based on these hairs, we'll keep gluing. Okay, this is one option. If you just want to glue them here on the crown and leave them loose, that's fine too. Or you can also glue these from the back. These hairs from the bottom, look, because they're third underneath these. You can keep gluing them so they're more secure and don't come loose. So we can do that process. So if I have the 2 in the center here, I should have 7 hairs here, and place 7 hairs here, which would be, look, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 4. 5, and exactly 7, look. And it covers right up to the back of the ear, okay? And you're going to do the same here. 7 hairs in, and in total there would be 16, so you only glue it up to here. See, right? So that this part looks like this. Look, I'm going to show you how I usually glue it, right? Heater. The 2 in the center that I mentioned are already in place. So I'm going to put silicone here like this. I'll remove this pin and hold it here because I'm only going to glue up to here. So I put some silicone here. Look, like this. And then slowly, without pulling, look, and without pushing to see either side, right or left, just like this, as it is. Stand, and that's how I keep gluing. And now that I have this one fixed, I take this one out and glue this one on too. and that's how I go, one next to the other. Studio. Done. Look. So everything underneath is glued now. Look. So, see, when the curls fall on top, it has this effect that if you move the doll, you won't see any. See gaps in the hair. So it's up to you whether you want to glue it or leave it loose. Now, look, let's go to the front. Now, since that hair is already secured, 6. What we can also do here is take out the pins and glue this little circle here. Silicone, we're going to put silicone here to glue it, to secure it a little bit here. Look at this part. CRO. So this just falls. Look, series, we hold it here a little bit. So, look. Those are the front loops. You can also, if you want, pick up some stoops here, like 3 loops, for example, from underneath. You can do this so you can. Second look, glue a little bit here and here. It can be a little bit here, so it looks like this. Look. Date. I'm going to underscore a loop from here and glue it a little bit here. No, just up to here. We're going to put a little bit of silicone here. I really like to glue the hair, not sew it, because I feel like when I sew it. Or maybe, I don't know, I don't really like sewing. I feel like it really puckers and doesn't look like it does when it's glued. Look, we can glue 2 loops here, so see, it looks like this, and this is on top, right? It would be more on top. So we can do the same here. 6th underscore about 3 loops and glue them a little bit here. For example, up to here. We can keep adjusting it. 6th. Here's how it would look. More or less like the hairstyle you want to give it, however you want to. Style, it look. Here we're going to lower it. It can be this here, put it here. It's however you want. 2nd. Really, this is a matter of taste. Look, D. No, here, we'll put 3 on. Here, we'll just put 2 on. There. So, like this. Look, the hair is a little more in place. And as I CEO was saying, if you want to add something, we can do this too, right? Put this hair over here. 6th one too. Look, so that it has this touch. Even, look, without actually putting it on. CH, because we can even give it a little hairstyle. Look, you can secure both of them like this, the 2 curls. Here we can even put a little headband. Look, so that stay. The hair looks like this with this hairstyle. I think that would be fine. So, look. 2nd, as I was saying, with a little bit of yarn, we can easily take this part here. 6, right underscore these 2 loops at the beginning and secure them at the back, so they go over these. 6, like this. And these 2 at the front also go like this. And we can secure it here at the back, not too tightly. 6th, we can underscore with a little strand of the same yarn and, look, make it like a little ponytail. Or you can cuties, use a hair tie. You can make a little bow, whatever you want. Right now, this set is just the hair, and I'm giving you the option of making it long. If you want to make long hair. Now, the hairstyle and accessories will be done when we make the doll. Body and everything else. Look, so here we're arranging it like this. That's why I'm saying it's better not glue it, so we have the option of leaving it loose or leaving it like this. Look, what do you think? Sidle this little bit of hair like this. Look, I think her hair looks really cute like that. Look, no. COL. Well, and that brings us to the end of this video. Today we learned 3 different hairstyles for second-year doll, each with its own special touch to give personality and charm. 662, you're Amigurumi. Tell me in the comments which one was your favorite, or if you'd like to see more 6 ideas like these. I love reading your comments and knowing what you'd like to learn in future tutorials.